Hi, this is session 16 of Apigee Edge course for beginners. In our previous video session, we have discussed on revoking access token, and also I had said that we will discuss on revoking refresh token in this session. But before we go for revoking refresh token, we have to understand a couple of concepts. So number one is how to set expiry time for access token and refresh token. Number two is what is the significance of refresh token and how it can be used. So in this session, we will discuss about setting expiry time for access token and refresh token. And in our next session, we will see about refresh token and how it can be used. Followed by that session, we will see demo on revoking refresh token. Okay. In case if you are new to our channel and if you haven't subscribed our channel yet, I would love to have your subscription, which will force me to come up with more videos frequently. Alright, without any further delay, let's get started. In this session, we are going to use generating access token using password grant type. In case if you are not familiar with generating access token using password grant type, we have made a session on it, that is session 7. So I would recommend you to watch that session to get familiar with generating access token using password grant type. All right, let's flip to Google Chrome browser and log in into Apigee Edge UI and click API proxies under develop menu, which will populate all the available API proxies which we have created already. And if you could see, API proxy demo is the API proxy which we have been using in our course so far. So let's use the same API proxy in this session as well. So let's click on it and navigate to develop tab. So here, if you could see, OAuth 2 is the proxy endpoint which we use to generate access tokens and revoke access token. So we are going to use this flow, that is generating access token using password grant type. So here, if you could see, this is the policy which is generating access token for us. So let's flip to Postman tool and let's see whether we are able to generate access token with password grant type. All right, we are able to generate access token using password grant type, and here if you could see, expires in is the default expiry time for access token, and here if you could see, expires expiry time for refresh token is 0. So this is the default time for access token and refresh token. So to confirm that, let's navigate to our policy, which is generating token for us. Let's navigate to the policy. So this is the policy which is generating access token for us based on password grant type. Here, if you could see, we haven't specified any expiry time explicitly. So this is the default expiry time for access token and refresh token. So how can we set the expiry time for access token and refresh token explicitly? All right, let's see that in action. So in order to do that, we'll have to specify that in the respective elements. So before we do that, let's get rid of the unnecessary elements from this policy. So even this is not required. So in order to set the expiry time for access token, we'll have to set in the expires in element. So let's specify that expires in, and here we'll have to specify the value in milliseconds. So I'm going to specify as 10,000 milliseconds, so which is 10 seconds. And in order to specify the expiry time for refresh token, we'll have to specify it in, refresh token expires in element. So let's have that element in refresh token expires in. So again, we'll have to specify that in milliseconds. So I'm going to specify 300,000 milliseconds, so which is 300 seconds and 5 minutes. With these changes, let's save this as a new revision. Our new revision is saved. Let's select our new revision and deploy it in the test environment. Let's deploy. All right, now let's try to generate the access token again. Let's click send. Here we go. We are getting expires in as 9 and refresh underscore token underscore expires underscore in as 299. So what is it? So when we specify the expiry time in the policy, we'll have to specify in milliseconds. But when Apigee returns back to the client application, it will give in seconds. Also, if you notice, this is 1 second less from what we have actually specified there. Yes. So expiry time we have specified there as 10 seconds, but here we are getting as 9 seconds. And also, expiry time we have set there as 300 seconds for refresh token, and here we are getting as 299. So why is that? That is because this is the actual configuration from the Apigee Edge. So it will appear 1 second less for traffic and merchant safety. And now the access token is expires in 10 seconds. So by this time this access token would have expired. So let's try to invoke an endpoint with this access token. So this is the default endpoint which we have been using in our course so far. So let's try to invoke that endpoint with this access token and let's see what we get. So it says access token expired. So let's try to create one new and let's try to access that endpoint and let's see whether we are able to access it. So let's copy this, go quickly, give the value and give the request. Here we go. We are able to get it. So let's try to access it after 10 seconds and let's see whether we are able to access the endpoint. All right, now if we give the request, we won't be able to get the response. It will say access token expired. Here we go. It says access token expired. All right. One more thing we would need to understand, in this concept, that is, let's try to change the expiry time for access token as 300 seconds. So let's navigate to our policy and let's change the value to 300,000 milliseconds, so which is 300 seconds and 5 minutes. Now let's save these changes. Now let's try to generate a token. We have generated an access token, so which is valid for 300 seconds, so which is 5 minutes. So with this token, we'll be able to invoke the endpoints without any issues. Now, in case if I'm going to change the expiry time for access token to 10 seconds, that is 10,000 milliseconds, and I'm going to save these changes. Now, what will happen if we try to invoke this endpoint? This access token is generated when the configuration was 300 milliseconds. That is, expiry time for access token is 300 seconds. That is 5 minutes. Now we have changed the configuration. That is, we have changed the expiry time for access token to 10 seconds. Now, what will happen if I try to give the request? Still, we'll be able to invoke this endpoint because we have generated this access token, and that access token is valid for 300 seconds. But after generating this access token only, we have made the changes. So the point is, the access token will be valid at that time what value we provide. So that is the configuration which will be associated with the access token. If our configuration is made to be 300 seconds, then the access token will be valid for 300 seconds. If it is set to 10 seconds, then that access token will be valid only for 10 seconds. So this is how we'll be able to set the expiry time for access token and refresh token. In our next video session, we will see about refresh token and how it can be used in the edge. That's it in this video. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Happy